There's no denying it. Benchmark moment. It's the 1-year anniversary of the McShay Show, and the future's so bright.
Oh, boy.
You know what I'm saying. Hey, listen, if that doesn't move the needle for you, how about a 2026 big board reveal? That's right. My top 32 prospects for the upcoming NFL draft released right here on the show. And I'm told Steve has some kind of strategic plan to attack me with a little game he's calling Too High, Too Low. Plus, we've got serious draft questions and previews to cover for the 3 biggest games on Saturday. I'm feeling a rough draft in the air. And just 182 days until the NFL draft. You good, Muench?
I'm great, man.
Hey now, Tucker. One time now, kid. Happy anniversary, Steve.
Happy anniversary, man.
All right, I'll take these things off. Let's get serious now.
Are those Tates, by the way? Those are way too small for your face. Please tell me those aren't yours.
They actually look great in person. I'm sorry they don't look good on TV. This episode is presented by Duluth Trading Company. Ready to give rival tailgates the foam finger? Duluth Trading Company crafts Hall of Fame game day gear to help you grill hotter, cheer louder, and tailgate longer. Bibs loaded with pockets, gusseted pants so you can crouch without snuffing out your coals, and free swinging shirts tailor-made for cornhole tossing. Stay comfortable from preseason to playoffs in the toughest tailgate attire around, only at Duluth Trading Company. Listen, this is 1 year ago today. I walked into this office, this studio. I turned on the cameras. I flicked on the lights. I stood in front of you and I gave an impact. Fuck it. I'm not going to do this whole thing today, right? Nobody cares, but we're excited. Cares. It's been 1 year. It's been 1 year. I'm not going to give some, time. It's not the time to reminisce. And look, we got a graphic to celebrate it. We're celebrating 1 year of the McShay Show. And just as a reminder, first of all, thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of it. And as you see on that graphic there, we've got 3 shows that we now are committed to. We finally found our groove. It took about a year, but we finally did. We've got on Mondays the 10 tape truths, which are a great way to review the games. We got on Thursdays the show that we're doing today, Rough Draft, and doing in-season NFL draft talk, but also looking forward to Saturday's game. And then on Saturday nights, we'll be back again. It's our favorite show of the week. And while the flagship is on Thursday with the NFL draft content, Saturday night is the fun. Break into the primetime games late, do a total reset and recap the games from all day Saturday. And the chat that we have there with Haas and always trade back. And Cole Marie and the whole gang, that thing's been rocking and rolling. It's getting bigger every single week. So we appreciate all of your support, and let's get to it, right? The top 32. I usually wait till around midseason to reveal the first one. And it's different from my ESPN days where we kind of can dictate when this gets released. And I'm not kind of chasing, does Kuiper have this? And then I go here. Like when I feel like it's the right time and I've had enough time to watch the tape and I've gone through all 32 of these names that you're about to see in the big board that I'm excited to reveal, then we make the decision. It's time to go, right? And it just felt like the right time. I feel like we've seen enough of the quarterbacks. We've seen enough of this class. And last week we did the quarterbacks. And you'll find it interesting as we get into this in just a minute. I've actually in 1 week made a change in the top quarterbacks. And it just seems like, well, there's not a lot of conviction there. Actually, I have now become convicted in what I'm saying. So I'm excited to reveal that as well. I want to share this with our audience. And Steve, you'll find this interesting, I think. And we haven't talked about this. I feel like I'm dealing from a place of comfort with this first big board release, top 32.
Interesting.
And I say that because I finished it on October 22nd, the anniversary of our show starting a year ago. It gets revealed now on this show that comes out 6 a.m. on Thursday morning, okay? And I told you I'd never lie to you. We're always transparent. We're taping this late Wednesday night, so it can be ready for you Thursday morning. So we are celebrating our anniversary. And when you wake up in the morning, you can see us celebrating with my stupid glasses on. As I mentioned, it's October 23rd. There's 182 days until the NFL draft. And so that's a place of comfort because there's going to be a lot of changes, and we can change as more information comes in and as the tape changes it for us. The second thing that's comfortable is I deal from a place of comfort. Almost no durability and character concerns are involved. This is a tape-based top 32. Unfortunately, as we get closer, there's workout times, there's the pro days, there's the combine, there's all sorts of character information and misinformation going out there. There's all sorts of medical stuff to sort through. This is just about ball, and I love that. And the third place of comfort, and this is new. I came to the realization this week, actually talking to Dan Comer, our trusty editor, producer, and Mr. Everything for this show. Just about all of these guys are millionaires already. And the ones that aren't yet are going to be next year, whether they go to the NFL or they don't. That's different than it has been in the past, man.
It's nice.
It's nice because you got to remember, I would get calls from Nick Saban's secretary, like, it's time for him to yell at you this year. And my good friend Urban Meyer would call and scream at me about this player or that player. And the reason they would be, and several other coaches, trust me, they would be yelling at me is because this guy's not ready. You're enticing him to come out in the NFL draft. Now I'm dealing with parents who are pissed off because I'm telling them that they should come back to school, and you're saying they're going to be a first-round pick. Now it's up to them to make the right informed decision. And it's not necessarily about what the agent says because they're trying to cash in on the money. You can get the money in school, So there's a place of comfort with this top 32. I want to also say this as we roll it out. 8 wide receivers in the top 32. Absolutely did not expect that coming into the year. It's been an awesome first half of the year for wide receivers across the country. And if you think this year's class is good, 2027 is going to be epic.
Crazy.
Okay? Crazy.
I have 7, so we're close there. Well, we both think it's
I wedged a few in at the end. So like it could have gone a lot of different ways, but I really wanted to showcase the strength of this group and the improvement. Because when we talked in August, man, excuse me, we were talking about maybe 3, 4?
Yeah.
And kind of squeezing 1 or 2 of those guys in. There was no official board that we did, but like when we were looking at grades, it was like, I feel good about 2 maybe. And there's a couple like fringe, and there's some other guys that could elevate. Well, some of those guys elevated, and some guys that we didn't even have on our minds or on any lists have elevated as well as underclassmen. So that's one thing. And just like not to be overshadowed, the edge class is outstanding again. And I'll get into some of the history of that, the recent history, and how good it was a year ago. But this year's group, like, I got 7 guys in the top 32 of the edge defenders. And finally, 4 quarterbacks in my top 15. You know what the crazy part is, Muench? Maybe none of those guys are in the 2026 draft.
That jumped out to me, yeah.
Right? All of them are underclassmen. All of them have another year of eligibility. I think actually 5 of my top 6 quarterback in the rankings, and not all 6 are in this first big board, if you will. But they're all underclassmen and could all go back to school. And you can make an argument for different reasons that all of them maybe should come back to school.
I agree.
Driven a lot by how many starts they have and the history of college starts and the correlation with success in the NFL. So with that as the backdrop, let's reveal the top 16 here if we can, Tucker. Look at this. 1 year in and our graphics are getting better. This is beautiful.
That's nice. That's nice.
What is, and I know you want to talk about some players that you think I'm too high on and too low on, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. I didn't struggle, but it was interesting. Like, do you go with the safety at number 1 in Caleb Downs, or do you go with Ruben Bain, who's been probably the most dominant individual player in college football all year? That was a struggle for me. I'm just going to point out a few things for me, and then you can point out a couple things, and then we'll get to your too high, too low. The next thing, Ty Simpson, and you can keep this up so people can digest it, Tucker. Ty Simpson, I put ahead of Peter Woods and Arvell Reese, who's had a monster climb. I put ahead of Jeremiah Love, who's coming off of almost 260 total yards of offense and has been an absolute star for Notre Dame since that first game where he wasn't all that involved in the offense and everyone was left scratching their heads, right? I put him ahead of the top offensive tackle. I put him ahead of Jordan Tyson. Why? And why, much more importantly, because if I'm in the audience, I'm like, McShay, what changed in a week? Because last week when we talked about quarterbacks, it was Dante Moore 1, it was Lenore Sellers 2, and it was Ty Simpson 3. First off, there was not a big gap between them. I still think in terms of the potential, the physical tools and what they can become, you can make an easy argument. Dante Moore 1, Lenore Sellers 1A. Okay, that hasn't changed. I do think it's important to say Dante Moore's made 12 starts in his collegiate career. Lenore Sellers made 19 starts in his collegiate career. Not at that 36 number that we talked about, and the importance of like the vast majority of the 25 starters that you would consider solid in the league, or at least like they appear to be your now or your future in the NFL, had 36 starts, all but 6 of them. 3 were unicorns physically, Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Drake May, and 3 have had a lot of struggles that they've either had to overcome or they're still kind of in the midst. And I'm talking about Sam Darnold, CJ Stroud, and Caleb Williams. Okay. So when I talk about those starts, that's why it's so important. And then you say, all right, you're a hypocrite, Todd. Because I'm looking at Ty Simpson and he's got 7 starts. The reason I feel comfortable about moving him up after just one more game is you got to remember that's like, and they've only played 5 opponents that I would qualify as like quality opponents defensively.
Right.
So you're talking about 20% of the film evaluation on Ty Simpson I just received versus Tennessee. And in addition to that, it's about like 4-game stretch. It's never been done before in the SEC to win 4 straight SEC games against ranked opponents. And most specifically, he's stacking the same tapes, man. I'm coming to the realization, this is just who he is. He's not getting bigger. He's not getting faster, but he's big enough because he maneuvers around well enough and with his feet and his eyes to find open receivers and to do it at a higher level than anyone in the college game. And it reminds me, I have to go back to almost Joe Burrow to remember like a quarterback that I felt this confident with in terms of maneuvering around, finding open receivers, just understanding the pocket, understanding the concepts, what he's looking at defensively, setting his protections, controlling the line of scrimmage. This guy's doing it at a different level than anybody else, and probably anybody else in the last couple of years coming out for the NFL draft. And so it's only 7 starts. But I just see the consistency. And by the way, the more tape I study, I don't have any concerns about his arm. So size just hasn't become that big of a thing. If the number 1 overall pick is like we saw Bryce Young, he's not all that big, and we'll see if it all pans out. We've seen from Drew Brees to Russell Wilson, like size is kind of in the past when immobile quarterbacks, wanted 6'4", 220, pocket passers, all those things. Different league. And so Ty Simpson, while he's not the biggest cat in the world, he's not the fastest. I think his pocket presence and his pocket maneuverability is outstanding. I see him tuck the ball and run when he needs to. I'm sold. It's going to take something to change on tape for me to remove Ty Simpson as my number 1 quarterback in this class. And I still can love Dante Moore and what his potential is. And I can still be over the moon with Lenore Sellers physically and some of the developmental stuff I've seen from him. But I'm a Ty guy now. Take it wherever you want, Steve.
I'm gonna get to Ty in a minute because I'd like to have a word about Ty. I want to get to the first overall. Did you consider you talked about Caleb Downs and you talked about Ruben Bain. Did you consider Arvell Reese or Jeremiah Love as the top guy on your board?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little, and again, a lot of contradictions, it feels like. Edge rushers, man, right? Like outside of quarterback, what's a more premium position? But a board shouldn't necessarily be rated as that. I love both those players. I really do. Jeremiah is an absolute star. I just don't like drafting running backs that high. I don't like drafting running backs as high as I have Jeremiah Love sitting at number 6 overall. Off-ball linebackers. It is interesting with Arvell Reese. I told you from the Minnesota game, and I was on the phone with Dan going through some notes on this the other day, and I'm like, I talked about Minnesota and how Reese is now being deployed as an edge rusher more. And you can see, like, let's get him settled in at off-the-ball linebacker, and then let's start to expand his role a little bit. And Matt Patricia has done that. But I hadn't yet watched this previous game. So I went PFF Ultimate, matched it up with the Catapult, best system in the world. My God, like, how did we live as evaluators prior to that system?
I know.
I popped on. It was like his 16 key plays or whatever it was from last week's game. Like 3 or 4 of them are rushing off the edge. And if you follow me on X, it's McShay at McShay 13, and follow Muench as well at You Good Muench. I've showed it, like, it was one of like 3 clips that I ripped through in like the first 8 plays of the key plays, and he's standing up a right tackle and driving him back into the quarterback. And so now you talk about that long frame and the speed and the power and the ability to cover. And you look at like the linebacker class, there haven't been a lot of them. There have not been a lot of them to go in the first round, period. Okay. Jahad Campbell went 31 this year. Jack Campbell went 18, and everyone mocked them. By the way, I watched Dan Campbell giving him the game ball this past week. He's been awesome. Quay Walker, number 22, and 20, but that's back in 2022. There were no off-the-ball linebackers drafted in 2024 in the first round. 2023 had Jack Campbell, just one of them. 2022 had 2 of them. Quay Walker at 22, Devin Lloyd at 27. Okay. Then you go back to Micah Parsons, who played both at Penn State and played a little bit at Dallas but like became an edge. So like put an asterisk next to his name. But that was 2021 if you want to include him. And Jamin Davis was 19th overall that year. You got to go back to Isaiah Simmons in 2020 to get an off-the-ball linebacker that was drafted in the top 10. He went 8th overall. So, yeah, I'd be lying if I didn't say I put a tiny bit of stock into these guys. Running back and off-ball linebacker don't go that high. But then again, like, safeties don't go that high too. So the weird part is those are 3 players in my top 6, Steve. Right. Like non-priority positions. And that makes it a little tricky, right?
I hear you. It was intriguing to me. And I feel like you're stalling. So I'm going to get right into the guys that you were too high on.
Why am I stalling? Ready? Go ahead. Yeah.
Because we're going to run out of time before I can rip into you. McShay.
Yes.
Mr. Quarterback starts. Mr. This guy's got to have this many starts. Basically built the Bill Parcells of the draft space now. Are you kidding me with Ty Simpson at 3? Are you kidding? If only, Todd, we had an example of a junior quarterback at Alabama taking over as the starter, waiting his time and taking over as a starter and having a monster season. If only we had that example in recent history. Oh, wait, we do. Mac Jones completed 77% of his passes for 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Natty won the Natty.
Yeah, he had 4 wide receivers that were first-round draft. Actually, I don't know how many.
No, he didn't. Jalen Waddle only played in 6 games that year, buddy.
Okay.
Jalen Waddle played in 6 games. Devontae Smith was lights out. John Mechie was good. Not
Ty Simpson plays the game at such a higher level than Mac Jones ever did and ever will.
I agree with you. Okay. I agree with you when you're looking at the tape. I also would like you to acknowledge that the Mac Jones story should scare the absolute shit out of you, and you're lying if it doesn't. It absolutely should scare you because all I hear about you is starts. So it should at least
start.
Yes, yeah, that's all I've heard. Starts. You should at least.
But that's why I'm.
Pause. And the idea that you have Lenora Sellers as quarterback 3 at 11 overall is comical.
Okay.
Comical. That you're going to put Ty Simpson ahead of him. That doesn't mean I don't love Ty Simpson or think that he's been outstanding this year. But if like you can't stand by your principles only when it's comfortable, man. You know that history has told us that he needs to go back and get more time. And I hope he does because he has been lights out this year. And if he does come out, if I was a GM, I'd have a hard time not taking him early. Like, don't get me wrong, Ty Simpson's looked awesome. But I just saw this with Mac Jones. And yes, I think he's better than Mac Jones. I think he moves better than Mac Jones. I think he has more, we talk about how he's not a great athlete and all that stuff. I think he's more tools than Mac Jones. But dude, Mac Jones numbers, 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I mean, that is a monster year. A monster year.
You done?
Yeah, I'm done. That one felt good.
You're not wrong with your premise, but you're wrong.
This is the one. You always got the outlier. You love the outliers. Here's your outlier.
Uh-huh. You done? You still done?
No, if you keep it up, I'm not going to stop.
I'm telling you, I haven't seen tape like this since Burrow.
It's good.
No.
It's really good.
Nah, it's not good.
So Jaden Daniels.
It's absolutely sensational.
Jaden Daniels 2 years
Jaden
ago.
Daniels is a different cat, man. Yeah, I'm saying no. Hear me. Jaden Daniels isn't a comp. Jaden Daniels rolls out of bed and runs a 4.38. Like Jaden Daniels is like, I'm talking about the way the style of play.
Okay.
And the control and the NFL readiness despite 7 starts. I'm talking about leading receivers. I'm talking about putting the ball in spots. I'm talking about maneuvering inside the pocket. I'm talking about control at the line of scrimmage. Understanding the coverages. He's a rarity. I don't know what else to tell you. He's a rarity. It's like this breath of fresh air. And yet, would I rather have 4.35 or Drake May's size with his mobility? Of course. I'm just telling you.
I would argue that too, by the way. Tell me that size doesn't matter, and tell me that these guys who have the Tuas of the world don't want a Drake May or a Justin Herbert or a Josh Allen. Guys would prefer those taller quarterbacks.
No question.
They'll give up. Now, I will say this. What's changed in the league is mobility is more important than size, right?
Yes.
Mobility is more important than size. I will agree with that. And it's come down and you can get away with it, a lot of it. But for every Drew Brees and, if you want to throw Tua in there or Baker in there, there's a lot of other, they still want guys 6'2" or taller. And I think Simpson's listed at 6'2", right?
I think it's more important, quite honestly, thicker than it is even taller necessarily.
That good build.
Do you know what I mean?
You take a beating in this league, man.
None of the other abilities matter unless you got availability. And Baker gets his ass handed to him every week. My son is a Bucks fan. He started with Brady and he carried it over. And so I watched more Bucks than I probably want to at times. And I'm like, how is he still on the field? But he's thick. He's Mateer. There's certain guys that just have almost but yeah. And do I want him to be those things? Do I want him to be 6'4"? Yeah. Do I want him to be thicker and have, yeah. But he's not. But he still can play the game. I mean, Joe Burrow, look at Joe Burrow. He's taller, but he's unassuming physically. What else jumps out at you? Because I know, here's the thing. The beauty of this with Ty Simpson? I actually know I'm right.
You're so arrogant. So, I mean, listen, I hope you're right.
It's not me. He's providing the arrogance for me.
I understand. It's just a small sample size. I want to see more, and I hear you.
I want to make
everything you're saying about the player. Everything you say about the player, I agree with. Go ahead. Sorry.
I do think he's going to be back next year. I think he's going to be making $4+ million. It's going to be no different than being a top 10 draft pick. Very and NIL. He gets to send his dad, who's an 18-year head coach at Tennessee Martin. He gets to send the private plane for him. His brother sounds like it might wind up at Bama, so they could have an overlap year. His two of his best friends are on the team, including Ryan Williams, a star wide receiver.
So cool.
Yeah, this is going to probably be a 2-year run. So I get to talk about this the rest of this year. He gets to tell the world he's coming back to Alabama. We get to re-rack this whole thing next year. I'm fired up. And he's going to be in the class with maybe Lenoris, with maybe, I hope, Dante Moore, because Dante's not ready. The messed up part about this is Dante's been in college football for 3 years, got 5 starts his first year, got to sit back with Will Stein, and he is absolutely phenomenal as a quarterback. He's the best, I think, like skill wise as a passer, I think he might be the best passer in the class.
I think that's fair.
Catchable ball, hitting spot. Like he if he continues to develop, he could be the best passer from this class. Ty Simpson's the best quarterback. And I think he's going to get another year, and that would be awesome. And if all three of those guys go back, yeah, it's like, who are we talking? Is it Mendoza, or is he going back to IU, which he very well could, and I think he actually should, despite having more starts than these other guys. My guess is I've got 4 guys here at quarterback, Mendoza being the 4th, all in the top 14, as I mentioned, and as you saw on that graphic. 3 of them wind up back at school next year, if I had to guess right now. I think Sellers could wind up leaving, even though he might not be completely ready, but his mobility will get him out of trouble early in his career. And I just wonder if South Carolina is going to be able to keep him there with what's gone on there this year. Maybe it's a transfer. Maybe it's come back to South Carolina and they put a better offensive line in front of him. I think Dante Moore will be back. I think Ty Simpson will be back. I have no idea what Mendoza is leaning. I don't know specifically on any of these guys per se, but yeah, it's going to be fast. January is going to be a massive month for NFL general managers. Remember, there's 2 of them already that have 2 first-round picks. Right. Andrew Berry in Cleveland, if he's still the general manager. And the Rams, well, I'm just being honest.
Yeah, I know.
We got a good friend out in LA who's the general manager who's ready to go and find the successor to Matthew Stafford. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where we are.
All right, second one. Can we calm down about USC wide receiver Makai Lemon? I understand.
I
understand.
I lied when I said we even before we came on air. You started it. You were saying something when I put my headsets on, and you said something about, and I said, Ben, the last thing I was thinking about was you when I was doing the sport. I actually thought I kind of had a little grin to myself when I put Lemon in there that you were going to be like, good call on Lemon. You're the
12. Okay, mystery comp time.
Hey, while you're at this, yeah, I'm going to get defensive. While you're at this little run that you're on, the little high-low game that we're playing, would you take Emeka Egbuka at 12? In fact, I saw someone do a redraft the other.
Yes, because I'm not afraid.
I saw a redraft the other day that said they would take Emeka Egbuka.
I'm a new man.
#1.
I'm a different man than I was then. It's a different world I live in.
What's the big difference between the two?
I texted you because I would want to know if you had an official size on him. If he is above 6 foot and he tests well, then we could start talking about him going earlier. Right now, I'm not ready to go there. Hold on. Okay. This is the guy. Okay, this is a mystery comp. Tell me if you can remember this player. Okay. Mm-hmm. This player came out in last year's draft, had 80 catches for 1,194 yards. He averaged 14.9 yards per catch. Makai Lemon's on a stretch right now where he will put up something like 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns. He's having an outrageous role. We'll see if that continues. That's, he's got a lot of time left. We'll see if those numbers keep coming. But he's averaging 14.9 yards per catch. He is 5'11 and 195 according to the website. The guy that I was talking about before is 5'10, 194. He came out last year. The guy that I'm talking about last year ran a 4.39 at the combine. He had the top vertical and the best broad jump for the wide receivers at the combine. He tied for 4th in the 10-yard split. And he was an absolute Todd McShay darling. And he went in the 3rd round. He went in the middle of the 3rd round. And he's starting to flash for
Jalen Knoll.
Yes, Jalen Knoll. All I heard about last year was Jalen Knoll.
Yeah, and so why wouldn't you hear about why would you hear about Lemon?
Not at 12.
I'm a Lemon guy, man. I'm a Lemon guy.
Would
I
have
put
worked
lemon
at
on
it.
everything I cook in this house.
Don't let anyone tell you you're not a pro. You're a pro. But that said, 12 is a little rich for me. And you know what? We got to keep it rolling. So I'm just going to roll right into why it's a little rich for me.
Yanni at Lemon Perfect will be very pleased. Go ahead.
You have Denzel Boston as your 7th receiver, 31st overall. Mm-hmm. What? How? 6'4", 210 pounds, great ball skills. Is it because he didn't play? Like he didn't have. It's not that he didn't play because I went back and watched these games. Yeah, he didn't put up numbers against Ohio State or Michigan because your quarterback at Washington didn't really play that well in that game, and he had plenty of opportunities to make plays. Give me the 6'4", 2. Why do you think Tataroa McMillan was the first receiver off the board last year? Big frame, moves well, smooth, can adjust to the ball, body control.
What do you think Boston's going to run?
I
honestly, I'm actually not being a
low
pain.
4.5s. I think I'm running the 4.5s, but I think lower 4.5s, under 4.55.
Tucker, let's throw up 17 through 32 so people can see where we're
giving that away. You giving that away?
Are we or not? I don't know.
I don't know. The McShay report. Yeah, I don't know if you want to give that away.
Yeah, I was supposed to talk about the McShay report. Hey, by the way, if you want the full top 32, go to the McShay report.
Yeah. You don't listen.
That's fine.
I'm here. You'd be giving everything away.
That's what I do.
Denzel Boston. You have.
And if you want details and historical data and like I actually like we poured a lot into the McShay report as we always do. But like if you want like the story behind some of the stories here, there's a lot of good stuff in this. It's Google the McShay report. If you don't subscribe already, please do. But like this is last week we started with the quarterbacks. This week it's the top 32. Next week premium subscribers get the we get to do a Q&A, ask your questions. I'm told I can only answer questions by people who are premium subscribers. So jump aboard. The thing's starting to grow, Muench. We started in February last year, and I just had to look up the numbers for some business stuff, and like we're actually starting to. All right, so
let's go.
Hopefully you get on board, and if you do subscribe, thank you for the support. 1 year on the show today, celebrating our anniversary. Muench is taking me out. He's gonna wine me and dine me later. Tucker and Dan are in the same room. I think they're popping champagne out in
Conor's
LA.
There. Yeah.
Conor, yeah. Like, I'm sure Bill's flying in, rolling in stretch limousines to take all the guys out. It's 1 year at the McShay show. But yeah, I appreciate the support and please, like, I didn't even know that it wasn't giving out 17 to 32, but now I know, and I'm not doing it to be like one of those guys, but like, sometimes you just gotta.
Oh no!
I'm joking.
Oh no! Oh God!
All right,
they're a little. I think they're a little small. I just want to go through this. Like I like Makai Lemon. I have him as 32nd on my board. I think that almost might be high. I have. You know who I think Emeka Egbuka is in the frame, and you look at who that guy might be this year.
Okay.
Your guy Jeremy Bernard from Alabama. I have him ahead of Lemon.
Yeah, I gave that comp earlier too.
Carnell Tate's climbed my board maybe more than anyone else. I have him as the same grade as Denzel Boston, and they're both Boston wide receiver 2, Tate wide receiver 3. Again, I like Makai Lemon, but you got to look at that frame and wonder, is he going to be 6 foot? The top 5 receivers in the league, and the top 5 receivers in the league right now are Jackson Smith and Jigba. He was 6'1", 197. Jamar Chase, 6 foot 201. Although I couldn't believe that. He looks bigger to me. Puka Nacua, 6'2", 201. George Pickens, 6'3", 195. And the interesting one, because this is the one, Amon-Ra St. Brown, another former Trojan, was 5'11", 5 and 197. Now I think that's what you're looking for as the ceiling for Lemon. But also remember that St. Brown went in the 4th round. Should he have gone much earlier? And when you're looking back at that, of course you would have taken him way earlier than that. He's awesome. But I'm looking at how the league values these guys. And I do think that size is becoming less important at receiver. I think you were ahead of me on that. I'm paying attention to that. I'm not putting as much weight into size. But that being said, I think when you were listed at 5'11", 195, and you might be 5'10", 185, now 12 seems a little early for that kind of a body type.
My daughter, she got her old man's stick-to-itiveness. If she doesn't get me Alaire, I love you, dear. I'm going to have to call you later. If she doesn't get me on the first FaceTime, she's good for a minimum 8. We're at 2 now. I'll keep you updated. How many? Yeah. Then she'll try Marissa, and she'll try AJ and Mia, and then she'll come back to. So we'll get at least 6.
I like that she knows her importance, though. She knows, you should be picking that up.
She's going to be heard. Trust me.
The other guy
yes,
that I thought you had a little too far down the rankings.
Okay.
And I get it. This one I understand, but I want to defend a little bit.
I do want to go back to Boston. I can envision a rise. I actually like him a lot. So like
you have him in the top 32. It's not like he's not there. I have him in
the top 32. I went off of the summer report. I did watch some this year. I thought he played like early in the season. I was really encouraged. Then you watch Ohio State, Michigan. Like I wonder against that top level competition, the separation and all of that. But I'm here to field concerns about him being too low. I've talked to some other people who think maybe second round for Boston. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. The McShay Show is brought to you by FanDuel. This college football season is delivering weekly showdowns you don't want to miss. And right now, all customers on FanDuel can score a 50% profit boost for this week's big match on campus between Texas A&M and LSU. Just place a bet on the game, apply your profit boost, and enjoy boosted winnings when your bet hits. And the best part? You get paid instantly when you win. Visit FanDuel.com/McShay to download the app and boost your next bet on this week's marquee game. Must be 21 and older and present in select states, or 18 and older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. This episode is brought to you by Duluth Trading Company. Ready to give rival tailgates the foam finger? Duluth Trading Company crafts Hall of Fame game day gear to help you grill hotter, cheer louder, and tailgate longer. Trust me, I'm a scene at the grill. I know what this is all about. They've got bibs loaded with pockets, gusseted pants so you can crouch without snuffing out your coals, and free swinging shirts tailor-made for beanbag tossing, or some like to call it cornhole. Stay comfortable from preseason to playoffs in the toughest tailgate attire around. Only at Duluth Trading Company.
I get this, and I want to preface by saying it because he had a really rough start to the season. That's Alabama offensive tackle Kadyn Proctor. He drove me nuts with his tape last year. Same thing, very up and down, very consistent. There's still things he needs to clean up with his footwork. He's got to be a little firmer at his pass set. I feel like he really turned a corner in the Georgia game. And if you look, I think it's 4 games since then. If you look at that stretch, he's played well, and he's gone against Georgia. He's gone against Tennessee. He's gone against Missouri. He's going against dudes. I mean, there's dudes he's going against, and he's played well. I think that him losing weight, which has been very public, is a double-edged sword because it's great that he's lost weight and he's playing better. I think teams are going to be like, why was there a sluggish start to the season? Why weren't you ready? So there's going to be that kind of an aspect to it. But when I look at how he's played over the last month or so, and then I look at the fact that he's number 2 on Feldman's freaks list. He's 6'7", 366 pounds.
And offensive tackle is a traits position. I will not deny that.
I was gonna already say it because you've drilled that into my head.
I know.
One of the many things we've talked about. 6'7", 360, and what he can do. I understand that he's inconsistent, but he could power down. He could take away inside moves. He can overwhelm guys. I love when he gets out in space as a blocker because he moves so well, and he's just a problem for anyone in space. I think that 23 is just too low. And I get it because some of the tape's up and down, but 23 is too low. I also think he's the second tackle in this class. I think he's going to go in the top 15. And it's not a mock draft. I understand that. I would have him in the top 15 overall.
I can actually live with that.
Interesting.
Because, and I feel like I get the tape oftentimes for guys that wind up going top 10, like Kelvin Banks' tape last year was not very good.
And he's playing well now. And yeah, I agree.
He's a star left tackle right now for the Saints.
Yeah.
And so it's something about getting to the league, working on some the minutia, the nuance, getting coaching. Texas has great offensive line coaches and guys that work on technique. So does Alabama. It's not like they're coming from these small schools. I get it. And it's not a knock on it, but there's something about these traitsy guys that get to the league and they elevate back up to where they were in recruiting. And so it is something to monitor. And I will note that the other 3, Boston, I get that's TBD as he goes down the stretch. He's got a couple more big games. I want to see him against top competition, but I'm on notice for that one. I'm saying Proctor, of the four things that you brought to my attention today, may be the closest one to accurate.
That's so difficult. There was some ones I liked, but I was going to share, but at this point, I'm not in the mood to be nice to you.
No, I understand. Well, I mean, you've been yelling at me for the last 20 minutes, so I can't imagine why you're not in the mood. All right, I do want to transition.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, sweetheart. There are three games that I want to get to, and I don't want this to be a monster-long show. And the reason, they happen to be, I believe, the three biggest games on the slate. It's Ole Miss, number 8, versus at 13 Oklahoma, okay? Then it's 15 Missouri at, what is Vanderbilt? I didn't write that down for some reason. 10. They're up to 10. And then 3 Texas A&M at 20 LSU. And you say, well, why these three games? I thought we were getting away from doing picks and previews and all that stuff. And we are. But I've been getting a lot of, whether it's on social, whether it's in our comments on Saturday nights in the chat, whether it's the comments in our show, I've been getting a lot of questions about these three quarterbacks in these three games. You can take it wherever you want to go in this game. Ole Miss at Oklahoma. John Mateer.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten a lot of questions in the last week or so. Like, what does this mean now? He came back. He was rolling. Everyone's talking. He's elevating, maybe first round, right? Then the Texas game happened. Even like the first quarter of the Texas game, like the legend carries on, and John Mateer, Oklahoma, Red River, all. And then you saw the 3 interceptions, the decline in accuracy. It just wasn't the same guy, right? So I went back and I'd seen that tape. I went back and I studied the tape last week, right? It was, it's hard to, it's kind of like Nussmeier, and I'll get to Nussmeier in a little bit. You know who he is, and so you have to like rely on what he is when he's healthy. But it was hard to this guy's grinding it out, man. He's out there. He shouldn't be out there. He's playing with the thumb. The first thing I noticed on tape,
that wrap on his hand.
When I got to the it's a black wrap around his hand. It goes to wrist and then around his thumb. And then I start watching plays. I'm gonna rip these through, and I want people to understand. Like, I could not be a bigger John Mateer fan, and I can't wait to see how the season ends, how the pre-draft process goes, and if he even is in the 2026 draft. Maybe he goes back to Oklahoma. He has another year of eligibility. The Red River didn't go the way he wanted. The season may not go the way he wanted, but there's still plenty of meat on this bone. But we'll see how that plays out. First, I just went through the key plays in the game. There were 18 key plays.
Okay.
There were other throws that were like, screens, easy things. I'm just going to give you a little rip. People, because I'm getting a lot of questions from people. Like, what are you seeing from Mateer? Was he better again last week against? Was it South? No, who was it? I just watched the tape. It was South Carolina. Yeah, was he better versus?
Yeah, South Carolina.
Sorry, South Carolina. I watched 3 tapes of these quarterbacks back to back to back. First throw that that stood out. First throw on the clip reel, quick slant, low behind the wide receiver. Next one, open tight end, Canick, right? Open tight end, middle of the field, hits him, but like 10 yards around him, wide open. Did great job working left to right in progressions, but I'm really focused on the throws, all of that. Next one, design zone read run. There had like 5 or 6 of the 18 plays were designed runs or zone read option runs. Tough son of a bitch, man.
Yeah,
love that about him. But now the next throw in the clip reel misses wide on a simple out route to wide receiver number 5. Next throw badly misses a red zone fade down the left rail to number 11, wide receiver. Next throw tries to force one into coverage underneath, incomplete, like just didn't feel right. Next one rolls out to his right. I put asterisks by this. Throws the ball into the dirt. This was a throw that Mateer always makes. He's like climb, slide, on the roll, feet are a mess, off balance, and he normally like rolling to his right, especially right between the numbers. Missed it. Into the dirt. Like bad, right? Rolls out
Yeah.
right again. The next one, airmails the ball on the run. Comes out of halftime, had 2 designed runs. Felt like, are they not trusting him? Are we kind of shutting it down for the day? Or maybe screening? Then he had the 2 best throws of the day. So I don't know if it was a shot during halftime. I don't know if it was changing the band. I don't know what it was. But his 2 best throws of the game were 8:07 third quarter. First throw that looked like Mateer is a deep out to the left, drills it. Then third quarter, 2:24, it was a touchdown on the wheel route, left side. Touch, but puts it right between. So, like, you're looking at this game now, and it's Ole Miss. This is a big game for John Mateer, and it's a massive game for Oklahoma.
And Ole Miss.
Sitting at and Ole Miss, of course.
It's a huge stage.
Because Ole Miss comes off of that loss where they absolutely dominated Georgia for 3 quarters, it felt like, even though the score was tight. Like, offensively just rolling. And then the fourth quarter collapsed. I think they had 13 yards of total offense. And so now if you have back-to-back losses, and it's like, oh, Ole Miss up to the old, so like massive pressure on Ole Miss. But Oklahoma, it's like, are we going to ever rebound? Is Mateer ever going to rebound? We know our offensive line isn't very good. We've got some weapons, but maybe we're not as good as we thought. Kadyn at running back. We don't have a great run. All those things. I feel like for both of these programs, this is a like the fork in the road. Thank you.
Yeah.
But it's especially big for Mateer. If he is to like salvage this season from a prospect standpoint, this has got to be the game that he does it. Off of that tape, am I trusting the first half that was really hard to watch, man, for a guy that I absolutely adore? His competitiveness, the way he plays the game, the ability to throw the ball from every which way. Or is this the rest of the season going to be a wash? Because we saw Gunnar Stockton absolutely shred this defense, and they've got a good defensive front, and the pressure's going to be on them. So it's going to be on Mateer. They don't have a run game they can rely on, and Ole Miss is as great as Oklahoma's defense is. Ole Miss is going to score some points. So this is a massive game for Mateer.
I saw exactly what you saw, and I was, for lack of a better way, I was a little bummed out, man, because he just doesn't look like himself. Even the way you talked about that throw where he'd slide and move, he's not. That was what's strange to me because, listen, I will never question his toughness. But he wasn't sliding and moving around like he usually does in the pocket. And I was like, is he afraid of follow through and maybe hitting a helmet or something? Is he trying to protect that hand a little bit by the way he's moving around? And that's just me trying to figure out what's going on. I have no idea. But it was the way he was moving around the pocket. Yes, the missed throws were concerning. I mean, the most concerning thing. But even the way he was moving around the pocket, I was like, he just doesn't look like himself. And I wonder, is that something that's going to improve as he gets more comfortable? We'll see, but their schedule, he's got no time to kind of ease back into this. It's not a thing.
I kind of like the Sooners in this one. Shifting from football. I told you it's 2 different brains. It's what you see on tape versus like just the gambling brain. And by the way, I'm 5-2 in the last 3 weeks. You're like, get out of here. That's Mr. October. And guess what? It's still October, sweetheart. FanDuel is going to, instead of putting up like McShay's, but it should be like Mr. October's 4-leg parlay.
Here we go.
Speaking of which, my pick of the week. Absolutely love Missouri.
Okay.
It's my FanDuel pick of the week.
That was tempting.
Is Missouri plus 2.5. Buy that extra point if you can, just in case. But I kind of like the money line too. I just think they outright win. The reason I want to talk about this game, though, in addition, oh, by the way, kind of cool. FanDuel, like, talking about the lights coming on when the first time they came on, and FanDuel has kept the lights on in the studio, in your studio, for the entirety of this thing. They're the best partners you could ever ask for. And their product is sensational. Like not only for like the in-game stuff, is like, it's like, it's awesome. But the NFL draft, as we get closer, like they certain companies and certain, like I love people that do it the best, that they're the best at what they do. Nobody's better than FanDuel.
They're awesome. I mean, we ask for odds and we get them 5 minutes later.
Oh yeah. And they laugh at me and the Todd's odds and all that stuff. I know that it's calling me odd, but that's fine too. But they're going to be in Missouri, I was told. December 1st. If you're in Missouri, if you're like a student there around, there's going to be more details that come out, but I guess they're coming to Missouri and they're just like giving out free stuff. And they're going to have like some awesome thing
Check it
going
out,
on.
man.
So we'll keep an eye out on that for you. We're a little over a month away, but apparently it's going to be some big deal in Missouri. I'm kind of giving you the heads up in advance. Probably get yelled at for doing this. I'm always giving away information before I should. But I think this is something you want to keep an eye out for. But Missouri at Vanderbilt. I get asked this question. Vanderbilt's getting a nosebleed in this game. That's what's going to happen.
Interesting.
Up to 10 in the rankings. It's a home game. I get it. But let me ask you this question. I'm going to throw this one to you because I get a lot of this, and understandably so. And what's interesting about college football and the NFL draft at the quarterback position these days, they've intersected. For a long time, man. It was hard because it's like, yeah, he's awesome. Tim Tebow's awesome in college, not an NFL quarterback. This guy's awesome in college. Go back to like Doug Flutie, awesome at BC, not an NFL. So, but we've seen now where like just 90% of the guys that are like at big time programs, winning games, nationals, if they're awesome in college, they're an early round draft pick at quarterback, typically, right? Much more so than any other point in the history of the NFL and the NFL draft. Diego Pavia. I think Heisman favorite right now, right? Him and Ty Simpson probably. At least getting invited to New York as we sit here right now.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like most entertaining player in college football. He's the darling of the nation in college football this year. And he's been awesome. We talk about Johnny football, Manziel, and some of those things that we remember, the upsets against Bama, and like he just has that swagger about him and all of it, right?
He's been a big part of Vanderbilt being back to a respectable program.
The biggest.
Okay.
And by a long shot. But NFL prospect. What do you think?
So the way you pose it to me is there anything he can do? Is it all right if I say it this way? Is there anything he can do to become to get drafted?
Yep.
And the answer is sure. I mean, sure there is. Like he could. I mean, they still have Missouri, Texas, and Tennessee on the like. Those are some pretty good defenses, and he just goes on an absolute tear. And Vanderbilt goes on a run, and they win those games. And Pavia goes down in the Senior Bowl and wows people. And I think that when people interview, I think they're going to love him. I think the teams are going to fall in love with him during the interview process. I think he's a late round guy at best. I think there's a good chance he doesn't get drafted and gets a chance in a camp. I think that's more of what we're talking about when we look at him as a passer and we look at him as a frame and trying to get into a traditional NFL offense. Maybe I'm crazy. I think he's a late round guy at best.
I texted a couple scouts, and it's kind of the same thing you're saying. It's what I see on tape. Here's the thing that
I love him. It's just how does it translate to the NFL?
Love it, and I'm only answering. I'm not trying to yuck anyone's yums. I'm not trying to do that. But it's probably the question we get asked the most, and it's a very understandable question. Like, does he have any shot?
Yeah.
Like, what? Because we've seen guys rise out of nowhere, and guys don't have to be 6'2". He's 5'09", though, verified height from the summer. 208.
I think he was taller than that. That's
me too. I know. I'm calling bullshit on the estimated 4.75 because I don't think you run away from Harold Perkins like that if you run a 4.75.
Yeah, he looks faster than that.
I think he's probably a 4.6 guy, maybe in the 4.5s. And I only bring up 40 time because there is a feeling among scouts like, wouldn't mind trying him at a different position.
Interesting. He's got that thick build, man. He looks a little bit like a running back.
We're still like Joshua Cribbs, Julian Edelman. I know there's a
Tommy Malott.
Tommy Malott. Yep.
You're a guy.
So like we've seen a lot of like late round flyers on guys that. So it'll be interesting to see at the Senior Bowl. I'm sure he'll be invited to the Senior Bowl. I'd be shocked if he doesn't go, and why wouldn't you?
I could see him really doing well there. I could see him
doing some other things, or maybe he's just damned and determined. But I wanted to touch on that.
I hear you.
And you say why? The height is part of it, but it's more like I don't see the arm, I don't see the anticipation, I don't see the NFL throws.
No.
And like that, you can be both things. You can have those limitations as a pro prospect and still be fucking awesome at Vanderbilt
And fun to watch.
And would be fucking awesome anywhere he played because he's just different, right?
Yeah, and
so
come
I can
out
love
of
him, but not,
nowhere and go to go to New York for the Heisman ceremony.
Tim Tebow was one of the best college football players I was ever around, I ever saw live, ever evaluated, ever watched on like TV. But I never,
Yeah, I think there's a strong argument for him being the best college football player of all time. I think there's a really strong argument.
Strong. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't fight you on it. That good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any thoughts? You like my pick? Hate my pick on Missouri? I'm telling you, I'm banging it now. 5-2 last 3 weeks. I'm on 6 out of 7 picks in my pool that I can't tell you who I'm in it with or whatever. But like, I get hot this time of year, and then I'll cool down around Thanksgiving, and I'll tell you when to back off. Don't back off now.
Yeah, you're gonna tell people when to back off. No,
I will.
I don't hate the pick. By the way, have you seen the video going around of the left guard, Kadyn McConnell, just against LSU, just murdering people with his punch? He's a guy he came from Minnesota, didn't play there, didn't play really last year. He's gotten some snaps at center, which I like because that means he could play both positions. But the Vanderbilt left guard is a social media darling right now for what he did against LSU on this rep, where he turned and punched the defensive end and knocked him on his ass, and then turned and hit the nose tackle and knocked him on his ass. The kid was looking for work and had bad intentions. It was kind of fun to see and just to get on your radar of a guy we got to watch going forward.
I should mention that Pavia was ranked 26 in one of the one of the there's national and Blesto scouting lists and all. It was it was 26 of the seniors. So that wasn't even a list and there's about an average of 12 to 13 quarterbacks drafted each year. And he was graded like 26th. That wouldn't include a Mendoza, a Ty Simpson, Dante Moore, Lenora Sellers, John Mateer. None of those guys were on. So those, and it would be the equivalent of like 31, 32. So just if you're not trusting us, and I don't put any stock into their grades, to be totally honest with you, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Finally, 7:30 ABC. We're breaking into this game. Come join us, okay? On the show. And I'll remind you one more time, the McShay Report. The top 32, you get all 32 picks, and I like some very detailed breakdowns and some behind the scenes stuff and what goes into it, and the 5 risers that are like why they rose and what the position strengths and all that stuff. And then on Friday, we're going to release another one with the fringe guys that didn't make the 32, but I can envision a world, and here's a path to where they could be in the top 32. So I'm basically giving you like a top 40 over the next couple of days in the McShay Report. Google it and subscribe, please. But Saturday night, we're going to break into this game and the Michigan State games. Those are the two of the games that will be on our screen when we come in with like 5 minutes left, and we do a whole reset and react to every single game. So come join us. It's taking off. And even though I see you, Stanford Steve, and I see you, Van Pelt, two of my best friends in the entire business and just great guys stealing our idea. I feel like everyone's got a live reaction show now. I had to.
No comment.
I need them. I know because you're a nicer guy than me, but they'll appreciate it. Nussmeier, I talked about LSU, Texas A&M. Talk about a game that just has to be had by a program.
Yeah.
But like, my goodness, does Brian Kelly and LSU need a win against A&M? It would kind of reset the whole season for them. You beat the number 3 team in the country. They get them at home. I've told you it is literally like if you die before going to an LSU night game on a Saturday night against an opponent like this, or just any opponent, you done fucked up. Okay. I don't know what else. Like, I don't scratch some pennies.
We need to
together.
Get there.
Oh, we're going to get there. But anyway, so you got all that going for you. LSU's defense does not handle this is the game that kicked off our entire show in the live Saturday night shows. This is when I'm screaming at Twitter Mafia. It was
awesome.
Twitter Mafia about, I had Nussmeier first. And then he as Conor Nevins, our executive producer, said on our group text, he was feeling himself, and he made that mistake. From that first interception of 3, I think he wound up having that night.
Yes.
From that moment, it was Jimbo Fisher. No, it was Elko. What am I talking about?
Elko. It was Elko.
I was telling my Fisher story about of course he's not a good leader of men because he's got Dennis Rodman and Pete Rose as the only 2 things hanging up in his office.
Amazing.
I mean, that's when it's sealed. I already knew, but that sealed the deal for me. But anyway, I digress. That was the moment where he's going to come back next year. But it was also after that first interception that Marcel Reed burst on the scene.
Took over. Yeah.
And
three
prior to
rushing touchdowns.
Prior to that game, during that game, after that game, and bleeding into the season, as much as that LSU defense is better, it's the mobile quarterback that gives them a terrible time. We saw it again last week against Vanderbilt. But Nussmeier, I thought he played a lot better and looked healthier against South Carolina. I thought he was about the same level this past week against Vandy, but I'm starting to see happier feet. I'm starting to see less confidence, and I cannot blame him for it. Their pass game is so limited right now. If you're Texas A&M, just like Vandy, squat, pinch, force them to throw down the field. Not because Nussmeier can't. He couldn't against Ole Miss, but he can now. And it's still not the same velocity. I know he doesn't have Baker Mayfield's arm. You've made that perfectly clear, Muench, and I agree with you. But he's got enough arm, and he's shown it in the past. And his receivers are good enough. They're not great, but they're good enough.
They haven't come together. They haven't played the way we had hoped.
They haven't. But there's enough talent, and there's enough speed, and there's enough size with the.
I'll tell you what. I double Trades Green, that tight end, that sophomore who's going to be a dude next year.
But you can do it in a short area because you
just bracket him and make everyone else make a play.
They can't
Aaron
trust him.
Is banged up. They're kind of a mess, man.
So you've got Mateer and Nussmeier, which they're going to be brutally hard to evaluate. Nussmeier will be in the 2026 class because he doesn't have any eligibility left. I hope Mateer goes back to OU for another year, gets healthy, and takes off again. Or finishes the season great and makes that decision for himself. Nussmeier's got to leave. Nussmeier's running out of time. They can't trust their protection. No one knows better than you, Steve. This group is
bad.
There's a moment here and there, but just because you protect for me on 2 or 3 or 5 plays a game, it's the other 15 that are in my head now. And I'm starting to see that both from Brian Kelly, an offensive play caller standpoint, and also from the quarterback standpoint.
Agree. I see the exact same things. I mean, there's a play. So first play of the second quarter versus Vandy, immediate pressure up the middle. I don't think it's a screen. It kind of looks like it's getting blocked by a screen. I'm being serious about this. I don't think it's a screen. And Nussmeier has to run around, and he basically lofts the ball to a point where Trades Green can run under it. And it's an unbelievable play. It's an unbelievable throw with pressure in his face, and he's backpedaling immediately, retreating immediately, and this nice touch throw. And I'm like, this would be fun, and it would be great to talk about if he wasn't having to do it so goddamn much. And now it's getting into the point where he's just trying to make something happen, man. And I respect it because he's such a warrior and he's just trying to gut it out. But when you're getting interior pressure immediately, when you're getting guys beat off the edge, when you're getting hit like that, and I don't know if you saw him at the end of the game last week with his head in the towel, and I think it was all coming out. And you think about what's happened with him this season. You beat Clemson early. You're number 3 in the polls. Heisman, I don't think is out of the question. And now I think the physical and mental toll is really starting to take it effect with him. And I hope that they are able to rally for that night game in Baton Rouge and get some revenge for a team that's put them on a 3-game losing streak last year and really kind of ended it, or started the end, was the beginning of the end for them last year. And it'd be awesome to see him rally, and stranger things have happened. But man, I mean, that offensive line is going to have to be different than they have been in recent weeks. They're going to have to figure out to be consistent with the run game. And Nussmeier is going to have to be special. I think he's really going to have to be special, and I think he has it in him. I don't think he'll ever quit. But man, it's been a tough year, and it's just really had an impact on him, I think.
4 quick things before we get out of here. Number 1, Cassius Howell, you might want to find that guy and ship him and double him and keep, because as the defense goes for A&M, so does he go. And I don't see an offensive lineman for LSU that can handle him one-on-one all night. Okay.
No,
that's number 1. Number 2 is you keep saying GD. I'm telling you, I can't hold Aunt Lisa back anymore. She's going to come in from Charlottesville and she's going to beat you badly. She gets mad enough at me for the F-bombs, but the GD stuff, she's coming after you. Number 3, everything on tape tells me this is a Vandy game.
I mean, the A&M game, right?
I'm sorry, this is an A&M game.
Yep.
Everything on tape tells me this is an A&M game. The mobile quarterback, Nussmeier struggling, pass protection, Cassius Howell. Give me LSU.
They could find a way, man.
Give me LSU plus 2.5 at home, Baton Rouge. It never rains in Baton Rouge on a Saturday night.
Yeah, I listen. I think it's a real thing. I think they could rally for him.
And number 4 is 5 stars, bitch. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. Or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.